You looking for me, you can find me at the barbershop. Pulling up to get a cut, bumping through the parking lot. I keep it clean, Rico's where I'm running to. If you in the city, then you probably gonna be coming to. Gang getting down, Red's getting down, Nick getting down, Ron getting down, just to name a few. Everybody blade on point. You trying to get fresh, I'm telling you this the joint. Hands down, top shop up in this vicinity. Promises age 9, LaRon been getting me. Temper on the side, I'm trying to grow out the waves.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the K.O.S. Barber Club podcast, where we discuss the collection of wisdom on the science of everything in life. And we do so by talking to our guests and seeing where they obtained self-awareness and how they developed the self-concept to become the person they are today. With that said, I have a client friend of mine that I've been trying to get here for the longest, but now he's on the grind. He's doing his thing. They know him as the Greek beast, but I know him as Joey Cosares.
Yes, sir. What's going on, my
What's
man?
up, Joe?
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah?
Yes, sir.
So this is the first podcast?
First podcast I've ever done, yeah.
Yeah, this is it.
I'm super excited about it.
It's good. And we're trying to help people. Like I told you about the podcast, but I mean, I cut your hair mostly like twice a month, and I tell you that we're trying to get people to like confine in their intuition and really understand knowledge of self as far as what to do, how to do it, and how to go about it.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it seems like everybody needs an instruction on how to do things.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yo, let me do a podcast where people can learn from other people's experiences and become the person they are today.
Yeah. I think that's the most important thing, is realistically laying out a path. Because, you know, a lot of people want to do different things in life. So what I do may not relate to everybody else in the world, but for somebody who wants to do the things that I'm doing, it could speak volumes to them. So it's really all like life experiences and things that I personally went through.
Let's start from there. How did you, where did you develop self-awareness as a kid?
Honestly, my self-awareness probably came from the experience of losing my father at an early age.
So you remember that?
Yeah.
It's like a traumatic
It was
state?
kind of it was a series of events to where, you know, you look up to somebody obviously as you're growing up, and there's a certain perception you have of older people when you're young, or just your parents in general, and how they're supposed to be, and then what the real life factor of it actually was. You know, for me to understand what he was going through at that age, I was only 13, so I was very young.
So that's young, but that's still like ahead.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get to the point where you were like conscious.
Conscious of it.
Like you remember.
Yeah, of course. Oh, you saying like early
stages, like first.
Probably when I first started playing sports, when I was like 5 years old. Obviously conscious of competitive nature and just what life was about as far as what you want to do. And going out and executing at a certain level is what sports really taught me. Like, you have to do things in a certain way.
And where was this at? New York?
New York, yeah. Born and raised in New York. Was born in Brooklyn, grew up in Staten Island, but started playing sports at like 5. So soccer was my first sport, actually.
Nice.
Yeah.
Soccer was my
first sport, but mainly baseball after that, you know, up until high school. But it really taught me things as far as just, once again, competitive nature and just the awareness of that. Because I wasn't the best, honestly, in school. So if I learned most of my discipline and the things that I went through was through just sports and just certain activities as far as like the gym and stuff.
So you were, what, 5, 6 years old?
5, 6 years old when I started.
So
yeah.
you recall being a football player, basketball player, the whole nine, or soccer?
It was soccer first, just because I was super fast. So I was always running around. Like, they called me the Flash. Like, that was my nickname. Yeah, that was my nickname when I was young. But it really came down to when I played baseball. Shortstop, Derek Jeter. Grew up watching the Yankees. Number 2 was my favorite. Yeah, so that's basically was my main motivator. Always wanted to play baseball. Played shortstop, pitcher. And that was the path until about high school. And
so sports made you aware of the competitive nature you had?
Yeah.
And then you created a concept as far as I want to be an athlete.
Yeah, more of an athlete and just understanding.
From a young age.
Yeah.
All right, so you went to school. You were probably always beating everybody and everything.
Yeah. It was always, I grew up in a very competitive household. Like, I had 16 cousins. Like, you know, my father's side was 3 brothers and a sister. Everybody had 2 or 3 kids each. So and we're all around the same age. So that competitive nature was just family.
So take us there. What thoughts did you have? Because there might be somebody that watches this that's of age and is in that same situation and just.
I think a lot of the perception of being a young kid and trying to, you know, be competitive in anything in life is trying to be the best. You know, always like when you have competitive nature, you want to be the best at what you're doing. And a lot of the times it's misunderstood to the point where you need to be perfect to start, which a lot of people that I encounter now as far as young kids feel like they need to be this perfect person, lifting a certain weight, and just be like, you know, the best person in the gym or the strongest person, whatever. And I think that illusion creates an unrealistic expectation for what life and the process of learning really is. if that makes sense.
Do you think it's unrealistic? Because I know, like, I know
Everybody's-
people that have unrealistic goals that
Yeah.
I've seen them achieve it.
No, of course not. There's unrealistic goals and there's unrealistic expectations as far as the amount of progress you should make in the shortest amount of time.
Okay.
Or like when you're starting, like I said, when you're a young kid, when I'm starting playing baseball and I never played baseball before, but I want to be the best at baseball, but I suck. It's like you have to learn to get better, just like anything
Yeah,
in
you
life.
gotta make mistakes
If I
to
start a
learn 'em from
business, you're terrible at the business. You're making mistakes. You're trying to make sales goals. You're not going through with it. If I start playing football, I try to catch a pass. I drop the first one. Doesn't mean I'm never going to be able to be a wide receiver, but it's just a matter of learning. But everybody, you take a gut check. You know, if you're playing in soccer, I know you played soccer growing up and through your whole entire life, you don't want to mess up. When you're on the team, you don't want to be doing bad.
No.
So sometimes when you're in those competitive states, you're like, oh, I messed up. I can't do this no more. And then you quit instead of continuously learning from the failures. And that's kind of what held me back from being as successful as I could have been at an earlier age of wanting to be perfect. And then that first sign of rejection was, okay, maybe I shouldn't do
Damn,
this.
you
I'm
had
gonna
like a downer, huh?
stop. Yeah.
How did that-
Always the up and down.
Take us there. What happened there?
So, I mean, the first thing was when I was playing baseball, up until high school. My father passed away right before I went to play. Like, it went to high
so
school.
the
I'm
mind
saying.
was shaking.
So my
right?
mind was shaky. My motivation for it was whatever. And then I basically tried out for my high school baseball team.
Yeah.
And made it to last cut, and then got cut. So after that, it was like, okay, I can't do this. Like, as far as the illusion of I didn't make the team, you know, blaming this, and this.
Damn, but you know the Michael Jordan story.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. But like, also my motivation to play sports back then was my dad, like just pushing me through the motions. And my mother was more of like, I don't want anything to happen to you. Like, you know, like you
Damn,
can't
so
do
you were
that.
torn.
Yeah. So I was torn between. And then after that, it was just like, just me being kind of alone and just sitting in a state of wanting more for myself. But when you can't speak to people about what you want for yourself, or if they don't see the vision for you, it's very hard to get that motivation that you need or get that structure.
So how'd you get through it?
Just kind of, honestly, I never ended up playing baseball, like, you know, through high school. So that was a setback for me. I always wanted to, you know, play football from there. So I wanted to play for the football team, never actually went to go try out for the football team. Like, always trained to play football.
So you play with your boys?
Play with my boys, always school park stuff, you know,
And
like
never
pick up.
took that step?
I was the best one that played, like always, you know, like everyone's like, what do you play? Where do you play? I never played because I had that illusion of I failed when I tried for baseball. So now, do I want to risk it again and fail again? Like the thought of failure prevented me from taking the chances I needed to take was the lesson that I learned through that process.
You
like,
used
know.
the word illusion.
Yeah.
Which is, I understand that you know that it wasn't real.
Yeah, it wasn't real.
You
But
were
that's
just
what most
down-talking
people,
yourself.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do that. They create that illusion.
So
And
what
that,
would you tell that Joey right now if you could talk to him?
I would tell him to not just be a victim to the mindset that you have as far as being afraid of failure. You know, fighting through failure. Message to anybody out there going through failure is just fight through, because there's going to be times where you go through failure, and a lot of times where you're at your lowest, you learn the most. So you need to go through that uncomfortable phase of stepping outside your comfort zone, making progress, failing again, going through the process again. Not everything's going to be up, up, up. Life's about ups and downs. So if
Like
you
working out.
Yeah.
Gotta work out till failing.
that's basically what's,
To grow.
you know, seriously. Like, that's why the gym has taught me so much as far as life in general, as far as consistently doing something, you know, seeing progress. Even I've been working out 17 years. If I stop working out for 30 days and eat
Yeah, I
like
saw
shit,
you mentions that.
and
You've
sit
been,
on my
what are
ass.
you, 34 days in a row or something like that?
37 days in a row.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I went. And before that, I was taking off maybe one day a week. So it wasn't
And
like,
you took a trip.
yeah, and I took the trip to New York. You know, I traveled back and, you know, I was with my family. Haven't seen them in a few months, but it's certain habits. You know, that's what I've learned as far as building the right habits instead of the bad ones. You know, a lot of people sit in bad habits rather than good. So it's just a matter of consistency over time. Because as I was saying,
That's mental power, man.
Yeah.
Because I know I go through it. I'm like, I told myself, I just came back from the trip. I'm like, I'm going to wake up, go to the hotel gym. I went to the gym.
yeah,
I didn't
you
work out,
passed
though.
by, baby. Looked inside.
I went to look at it and I was like, I'm going to come in tomorrow. I didn't get a chance to go.
But that's what I said. But you want more things for yourself as far as you said, the illusion of you just walking in. I think the illusion of you going to the gym and having the exercise in your thought of your mind at that time.
Dude, I
is
was already
impossible.
in there. I was thinking about how sore I was going to be the next
Yeah,
day.
but that's what I'm saying. Rather than taking it through the motions, picking something up and just going through one set, taking it one step at a time. That's why I tell people all the time. One of the things that I do for cardio, I hate cardio. So if I want to do cardio and I got to do 15 minutes on a Stairmaster, telling myself I got to do 15 minutes is just something I don't want to do. Yeah. But if I said, let me just get on and do 3 minutes, you know, I do 3 minutes, all of a sudden
And then you push it.
I'm at 3 minutes, but I'm at 27 flights. 27 flights of stairs. Now, okay, mentally I want to hit 35. Now I'm at 35 flights of stairs, but it's 4.5 minutes. All right, let me go to 5. And then like just that gradual, that's basically what I'm talking about as far as habit. One habit leads to another. You'll have that momentum built up rather than just like, once again, people who come to me for weight loss, they want to lose 60 pounds in 30 days. So you want to go from completely unfit to not working out at all to a strict diet to something so extreme, leading yourself to failure already. So if you lose 30 pounds in 60 days rather than 60, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't hit my goal. Let me stop. Rather than paying attention to, oh, I'm actually making progress towards the goal.
Exactly.
You know? So that's where I've learned a lot as far as, once again, the gym, you know, teaching me how to, like, once again, I'm 37 days in a row. If I stop for 30 days, I'm going to get weaker. I'm going to get more out of shape. I'm going to lose my strength, and I'm going to get fatter. Just straight up. If I don't work out, and that's for 17 years I've been working out. So it's just something that needs to be consistently pounded over
17 years. So
yeah,
you started at a young age working out for the sport, right?
Yeah, I started at 16. I bought a Michael Jordan jump manual book because I wanted to run faster and jump higher. I used to play basketball, YMCA, you know, and I just wanted to touch rim. So I was like, I'm just going to work out legs 3 times a week. So I bought a jump manual book, and I just started doing legs 3 times a week, heavy stuff, and I would just do bench press and biceps.
Learning.
Yeah. But I wanted big biceps. I wanted to bench a lot, just like any young kid out there wants to do. They want to have a strong bench press and they want to have big arms. But that's what got me into the routine of just working out. You know, stepping into the gym, kind of stepping outside my comfort zone and being uncomfortable. But I didn't understand what I was doing for 4 or 5 years after being in the gym, as far as working out correctly.
You just knew okay, I'm gonna do these sets.
I was just in the gym for sports, like,
following
you know
the lead.
Yeah, I was following the lead of a book, but like eating and just like form and doing everything correctly. There wasn't as much information online as there is now either.
That's
You know what
another
I'm saying?
thing. Yes.
There wasn't
And
social
nowadays
media.
you got no excuses.
Yeah, it was MySpace back then. You know, to say we had a top 4, top 8.
You gotta wait like an hour for something to download?
Yeah,
That's
no,
crazy.
it was crazy. You know, but now they have so much accessibility out there for people to learn quicker. So that's another thing. People compare themselves to. If I'm going to compare myself to a 21-year-old doing something that I'm doing that I didn't have the access to when I was 21, how are you comparing yourself to something like that?
Yeah, I don't think nobody should compare, man. I think it's just like within. That's why it's knowledge itself, the podcast. You gotta really understand what it is you're doing. So when you started that, you didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
You were
know.
just
I
going
was
through
just
the
going
steps.
through the motions.
But
Yeah.
you were already doing the right thing, which is you got a book, you got some knowledge, and you're trying to obtain it.
Yeah, I try to just invest into myself to find out the best way to get to where I want to be for my specific situation. Like, what is going to make me be able to dunk the basketball the quickest? And that was basically the route I had to go, which allowed me to end up dunking and, you know, be very athletic. I was running a 4.4, and I was just windmill dunking off the backboard at like 6 foot. Yeah. So, but that was like my goal. And then I was doing sports until I was like 26, 27, you know? And then I tore my knee. And then after I tore my knee, I was like, because I was playing like BS tournaments, flag football stuff, tore my knee, ACL, MCL, meniscus, rehabbed it back, and then played in a tournament the year after, collided knees with somebody, tore my lateral meniscus, and then I was like, all right, I'm done.
It was
Like,
done.
you know, it was done.
Felt
It was
like jelly.
Because I wasn't getting paid for it. It was just more hobby, but like it was just very hard to get back from. Even now, but my legs are the strongest they've been, you know, ever. Now,
So you don't
at
have any
33.
issues with the knee at all right now?
No, rehabbed it back. I mean, a lot of people put limitations on things when they go through stuff, you know, and neglect it rather than attack it. I'm kind of the opposite. Like, if something happens to me as far as an injury, I'm obsessed. I become a demon. Like, I'm gonna have to get this back to 100%.
Where do you think you get that from?
I think it's it comes down to not having something that you used to have, ability-wise. So what I mean by that is, let's just take, you know, your shoulders, for example. You know, you cut hair all day. If you separate your shoulder and you can't cut hair no more, all of a sudden, holy crap, I have to do everything I can to get this back.
Okay.
Because you're not realizing the opportunities you have, like, every single day, just sitting here, us. Like, you know, so I think because I was always playing sports and in the gym. So whenever I couldn't, it was like, I have to do everything I can to get back because my mental health was going to the gym.
Would it give you like an anxiety type of feeling?
Yeah, of course. Because it was everything I was working for. Like, I wasn't playing in the leagues or doing like that, like, you know, professional stuff, but it was my passion. It was things I loved. Like, I loved
You want to
competing.
be the best that you can be.
That's why I would say baddest mofo in the room, always. Like, you know, that's the mindset. Like, people laugh, but it's like more of a mindset.
I love it. It's like,
you know,
okay, yeah. You walk into a room and like, I'm the best motherfucker. Right?
It's just a mindset to just be the best in the situation that you're in, whatever it is. You know, whether it's me going to the gym, you being a haircutter.
For you, it's a healthy mindset.
Yeah, it's more of a
some
healthy
people,
mindset.
it might be a little aggressive as far as like, I got to be the best. And So people really take it to the point where
it's a competitive mindset. You know, that's why Kobe and you know Jordan, those mindsets
the Mamba
of
mindset.
just attacking. You know,
But look how many people are on the planet.
Yeah,
and it was Jordan and there was Kobe.
That's it. You know,
that made that type of impact. Like
it's
I don't
very
think
rare.
I think there are people like that in other like sports and stuff like that, but not in the impact they did it at.
Yeah, there's other people like that in different professions and areas. You know,
True, like the silent heroes.
Yeah, the silent heroes or the scientists or Tesla or Amazon. Like they're within their own grasp
they have that
of
mindset.
the goats. They have that mindset. It's really just the thing I respect most about people who have made it and then also, you know, keep that status is not getting complacent on materialistic stuff. Like
Correct.
the people who, like, even Drake, for example, one of my favorite people to listen to, has been at the top since I was, 2005, 2004, so 20 years, and he's still going. And he's still, like, he doesn't need money, he doesn't need fame, he doesn't need nothing, but he's still releasing. Same thing with LeBron, 22 years in the league, doesn't need nothing. But the reason why they're so good is because they don't get complacent with their overall lifestyle because their habit, once again, is in check. It's like, what is the habit of what I do every single day? That's where I think most people fall off, especially with the gym. Once again, circling back to this, it all comes back because habit, once again, if I get complacent with my physique being in the best shape I've ever been, the strongest I've ever been, gone. You know, so I need to keep the habit rather than pay attention to where I sit. If I look exactly the same a year from now that I do now, it's a tremendous amount of discipline, tremendous amount of dieting, tremendous amount of working out. It's not me changing anything. So I think that's what I've learned the most from the people who are successful for the longest. If you want to keep that longevity of success, you need to have the right habits in place.
And what age did you obtain this knowledge?
I would say maybe when I started my mortgage career, because it was like 24, 25.
Okay.
Because I was very undecided with what I wanted to do with life. Like, you know, up until that age. Like, I didn't really want to know. Yeah.
Constantly.
You know, there's so much pressure to have your life figured out by 18, 19, 20, these young kids. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that was our pressure. When you go through high school, you need to know what you want to do going into college. And you're only 19. You know what I'm saying? So there's so much pressure that's why I feel like so many people settle, because they feel like they need to have it figured out. Meanwhile, I know people who are 40, 50, 60 that don't have it figured out.
But they're doing what other people want them to do.
Exactly. You fall into the trap of, okay, I don't have it figured out by 18. What does my family say I should be doing? Oh, I should get this job. I should get this job.
Yeah, and you're Italian, so your family status is like tight.
Yeah.
So you got to listen and obey and do what they
every time family parties, when all my cousins, like I said, I had a tremendous amount of cousins.
Competitive.
Yeah, but they're all going to college. They're all graduating. And then I'm delivery driver.
Yeah.
For a health food place, going to the gym. And everyone's like, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you getting a city job? Why aren't you going to school? Why aren't you getting a degree? All this stuff. So that constant just tension from my family, the people that I loved, who don't see the things that I see for myself. I was like, I don't want to settle. I don't feel like settling for something that I could settle on when I'm 35.
So how did you have those conversations? Because a lot of people buckle.
A lot of people do buckle.
So how did you have those conversations?
I had to step outside. Once again, the things that I've went through as far as losing my father, once again, give me perception of life and what really matters. So it was like I wasn't, once again, going to settle and not risk doing everything I could to live the life that I potentially could have a chance to. I'd rather do everything I possibly can and take the risk and not settle for now. And then, you know, if it didn't work out, but at least I tried, I'm good with that.
And you were, what, 14, 13?
13 when that happened.
That's pretty young to get that mind state.
Yeah, because, I mean, unfortunately, the last few months that my father was around, it was just him in a mindset of he just gave up. Like, you know, so it was like every time I seen him, it was like, he's like, I'm dying. Like, there's nothing I could do. So the face of regret that I seen on him every day of not taking care of himself or wanting more, but now you don't have a choice.
You're like, come on.
But you don't have it. He had stage 3. As soon as he found out, it was stage 4 a month later, he died. He found out when my grandfather died, November 2005, cancer. So his father scared the shit out of him. He went to the doctor, found out he had cancer. Right after my grandfather died, he died in February. So 3 months later. So I lost both of them in a very short period of time. And those are men that I looked up to my whole entire life, you know? So that perception of two big machismo, like my grandfather was the Greek, Johnny the Greek, 250 pounds. My father, 250 pounds, 6 foot, big machismo, Italiano men, just deplete.
So that's what something inside you.
That's what made me want to take care of myself. To the best of my ability. Everybody looks at me and they're like, why are you going to the gym often? Like, I've been going to the gym so long, so I have the muscle mass that I do.
No, it's a
I
lifestyle.
went through the process, yeah. But I do it for that reason, and that's what I preach to a lot of the people that I help now is like, this isn't for flexing in the mirror and girls in your DMs. This is for your longevity of health. This is for grown men to now be able to take care of your family.
Correct.
If you have a spouse, if you have children, you take care of yourself. Those habits will be implemented to the people that you love. If you don't take care of yourself, the same thing.
What is it? Lead by example?
Yeah. If you don't know how to take care of yourself, how are you going to take care of, your children and make them grow properly and things like that? So if you have that education, have that knowledge, you could do that. And then if you take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's something that they used to teach back in elementary school. I remember we used to have like physical fitness tests and you had to stretch a certain, now they don't have that at all.
Yeah.
Talk to my daughters like, yo, what do you guys do in PE? They don't do nothing.
It's crazy.
They might run around and kick a ball or shoot. But
unfortunately, school doesn't teach you the things that they should.
That's nuts, right?
Yeah, it really is crazy.
But you have a point. Yeah, you got to learn how to take care of yourself.
You do have to, and super important because you don't want to. Once again, the reason why I do is because that face of regret still lives in my head every day. As far as just what he went through and sitting there and be like, I'm sorry I didn't take care of myself. To say that to your son, as a man who's got no other
something
option.
sparked inside you.
Something sparked inside me to say, okay.
Time to level up.
Yeah, level up.
Wow.
So, but it was also a process from there because I was very sheltered. I was super insecure, like low key. Like through high school, I didn't go out. I wasn't the popular one. I just
introvert.
Play video games, maybe super chill. You know what I mean? I didn't like talking to anybody.
Is that why you didn't play sports? Because you were more like reserved?
I think. Well, I didn't play through the high school years a lot of the times, honestly, because we didn't really have money. I grew up with nothing. So like even to join the football team or go to the summer camp, $500.
Yeah,
couldn't do it. Couldn't buy the equipment.
Yeah,
my
I was
mother
on the same boat.
Couldn't afford it. Like, my father passed away. We were bouncing house to house. We were barely, getting by. But, I mean, we had everything we need. We had food on the table. We had love. And that's it, bro. You have a place to sleep. You got family that takes care of you. That's why all this materialistic stuff, only so much. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's fun.
Your health is
it's
your wealth.
good to have, but exactly, healthy.
Health is your wealth and just having good company and people around you.
And health is not only your physique and muscles, it's your mind.
Yeah, it really is.
I know a lot of people that look amazing, but their mind is a little shaky. So you got to, I guess, balance them out.
It's got to be a balance. It's got to be for the right reasons.
For the right reasons, correct. Yeah. But that spark, damn. Okay, so after the spark, you continue with life. You went to school, you did sports, then you tore your knee. Then you moved. When did you move to Miami? When did you make that move?
4.5 years ago now. So right during COVID. So I went through the personal training process, but I was only when we were 20, like I said, 10 years ago. That's when I was doing it. So even if I stacked, 8 clients a day, 7 days a week, there was a cap. So I didn't like that. There was no online coaching like it was now and stuff like that.
So you were coaching back then?
I was doing personal training when I was 23, 24. But once again, for those 2 years, it was like even if I stacked, I was working for a gym, they're taking a cut. Yeah. So even if I stacked my schedule top, it was like there was only like maybe 80, 90K a year at max. That's if I was doing everything I could. Yeah. So I was like, I just didn't like that illusion because I wanted to make as much as I possibly could. Okay. So navigating around mortgages, got an opportunity through that. Didn't even know what a mortgage was, just a friend of a friend. Just everything ended up working out to where I could make money in a short amount of time. So that was great. Everything was good. Built the business through that 5-6 years. And then during that process is when COVID happened. COVID happened, interest rates went down to the lowest they've ever been in life. So everybody, I could pick up a phone book, close my eyes, pick a name and call and say, hey, you own a home? I can save you money because they were the lowest they've ever been. So very easy to make a lot of money during that time. Okay. So allowed me to be financially free to the point where I could move. I was in a relationship that went away. We broke up. I was single. It was, I think, 2020.
And you're like, I'm going to Miami.
I said, this is the last chance, because I used to visit here all the time. So I came here a bunch. I used to go to Ultra Music Festival 5-6 years in a row. So it was a beautiful place. I always wanted to live here, but growing up the way I did, it was impossible. No. My family, they'll crucify me if I try to move away. That was their thought process, but I was at a point where I didn't care. I lived in New York, near my family, barely seen them anyway. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm just going to go do what I can. This is the last opportunity I've ever had in my life to go do the things that I actually wanted to for myself. And even a month before I moved, it was like, I don't know if I should, like, nervous because I had
again, you had family pressure.
Family pressure and just, should I do this? Is this the right thing? Like, everybody has that anxious feeling of moving out of their hometown.
Then you listen to that little voice that I always tell everybody that you have a voice inside your head, and that's not your voice.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's just, it's once again the illusion of what might be an outcome. Like, you don't actually know what the outcome is, but a lot of
your mind plays tricks on you.
Yeah, but a lot of the times, even my mother does this. I love her to death, but if I present her with an opportunity for something, even now, like with what I'm doing, because they don't get the illusions of it, they're older, they will look for the bad thing, rather than the potential of good. So if I present you with an opportunity of, okay, you can move to Miami, you could do your thing. It's not great. The lifestyle is great. Opportunity, this. It's, what if it doesn't work out? What if I can't get a job? Like stuff like that. Yeah. So it's like everybody attaches their mind to the negative rather than what like now that where I sit 4.5 years later, it's so much better. Like it's so much better than I thought it was going to be as far as what I'm doing. Because like I said, I moved out here in mortgages. When I moved out here doing mortgages, still going to the gym, obviously, everybody's in the gym recording themselves. So now it creates an environment to where I might as well record myself too. Like I already loved video editing.
You created that concept.
Exactly. So then I was still doing the mortgages, but then all of a sudden now I'm starting to post a little fitness stuff, and everybody, you're crazy. What are you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No,
that's where the Greek beast came from, because I had clients, right? Yeah. So I was like, I need a username to where, because I talk to you on the phone, but you don't see what I look like. Okay. So I was like, let me create a username to where I could post content, but like my clients, because you know how it says, access to your contacts. Yeah. So they'll see me. So whatever. I just made that name, started posting. And then 2023 is when my social media presence blew up as far as on TikTok, just vlogs. So gained probably 60,000 followers in like 3-4 months. Yeah, just posting vlogs. So everybody now, but I was giving away free information. There was no coaching, but it was more, hey, I need help. I need help with this. So now I'm kind of getting overwhelmed to the point where I want to help as many people as I possibly can, but I don't want to give you this PDF, BS and, just give you a PDF and it's a half-ass thing. I want to create a platform. Now I have the want for the service that I could provide rather than making the service and then trying to get the requests. Yeah. So that's what a lot of people mess up too as far as building businesses. Okay. They try to go so far ahead without actually having any traction. So they'll spend so much time on creating this, service or things like that, but nobody wants it. So focus more on building your, I guess, reputation, I apologize, in your specific field, and then create the service to sell. So that way, because when I was coming out my online coaching, I had 300 pre-signups. Okay. Like before, just because I've had that demand. So I was like, 8-week process, I'm signing up, I'm doing this. And then 2023 November, I started doing it, and then now it's my full-time thing. Aside from anything else, I haven't done mortgages in 2 years, and I still constantly sign probably 80 to 100 people a month. Wow. Onto the platform, but it's month-to-month plans. But it's been an absolute blessing, and then you just got to keep on going.
And what? Okay, because everybody has doubts. Yeah. Did you have any doubts?
Yeah, I still have doubts. I have doubts every day.
How do you deal with that? Because this is a field that you got. It's not easy.
It's consistency. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it's being reliant on your work and understanding the process of good habits. Once again, always back to habits. I read Atomic Habits, one of the best books I've ever read as far as teaching you doing things without expectations of results will allow you to keep doing the right things when you know they're right. So if I do something one day and it's a successful day, and I do the same thing the next day, but it's not as good, I know it has potential to be successful. I can't get caught up in the fact that, okay, I only signed 1 client instead of 5, but I did the same exact thing. So I know the potential is there to constantly grow. So as long as I stay within my proper habits, once again, now if I'm financially okay and all of a sudden I start making good money in my new business, and you get lazy and you stop doing the things that got you there, once again, routine, habit, you're going to lose that traction. Same thing with, because I did the social media, I took it for granted. When I first started blowing up, I got all, I got the coaching platform. I had the 300 signups. I was like, I'm good. Like, I'm chilling. I'm ready to go. And then I stopped posting content as much. I started going out a little bit. I started drinking a little bit. And I started eating like crap. So my physique got worse. So my traction got worse. So, like, it's like, if you don't, once again, this is a process of me just learning over time.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. So it's 100%. Not going to be consistent. And I put myself in perspective to the good times will not last, and neither will the bad. So there was great times for me as far as even posting videos, consistency. Like my traction isn't as good as it was, but there was like when it was really good and I was blowing up, it was the illusion of this isn't gonna last forever. So don't think this is gonna last forever, because now if I let that creep into my mind and I got out of the habit of, oh, my videos aren't doing as good, let me stop, I would just completely stop, because now I have an expectation rather than just doing what I need to, you know.
So that's the way you develop the concept. I got it.
Yeah, I think it's more just, once again, doing things without an expectation of result that you know are right, especially in the gym. Like, you know, if you're going to go to the gym, you're starting a weight loss journey, you need to do, like, we both need to do the same thing. Eat correctly, sleep correctly, and work out and exercise.
Yeah, people don't have the guidelines to follow.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's a matter of you visually look at yourself and you're like, 2 weeks, this isn't worth it. You know what I'm saying? Rather than understanding that process that you're doing every day will eventually lead you where you want to go. It may not be as quick as you want, but it will lead you to where you need to be. So I think,
do you take the same process and planning that you do with the workout routines and yearly plan with lifestyle the same way?
yeah. Basically.
Really? So you split them?
I think I basically have the same approach as far as expectations for, once again, results, and just really finding good habits. I think that's the best thing.
Good habits. So not drinking, not going out till late.
Well, yeah, in
eating
relation
right.
to what you want. Like obviously people's, lifestyles are different. For me, it's impossible for me to, go out, drink, be hungover for 2 days, and then go post a fitness video and say,
Yeah, it doesn't work out.
It doesn't. But that's what I was doing when I first started my content. Because I was just moved to Miami, I'm going out, but and then I'm like, oh, why isn't it doing that good? Maybe I should just stop. But it's like, you're not devoted to the words that you're speaking. If you can't be a man of your word as far as what you're selling, it's very hard to see through the lines.
Correct.
I mean,
and
it's
when
very easy. It's
authentic
very easy to see through the lines.
And it's creative and it's authentic and
it's real.
It's real.
Yeah.
That's what
people trust that. That was the game changer for me. That's what helped me blow up, was the mic'd up. Okay, because fitness is one of the most toughest industries to get in, especially at my age.
In Miami.
Yeah, just anywhere. Like, I go to one gym at 5 o'clock on a Tuesday. There's 6 other people doing what I'm doing. In one gym, one place, one time.
Yeah.
In Miami. You know what I mean? Imagine the whole world. Everybody's posting.
Correct.
So you know how hard it is to compete. So what is going to make you stand out? What is going to make you different? It was my personality. It's being able to connect with a certain person.
Originality, not copying.
Me
like
talking
you said,
a little
you figured
shit.
It out.
When I say you're soft, if I tell you this, but that's what I did. I did studying. I posted 700 videos before one of them even got over 5,000 views. 700 of me sitting on my bed like, is this worth it? This probably isn't worth it. Like, what am I doing? I'm 32 years old trying to splash on the fitness scene. Like,
there you
second
go.
guessing myself.
Exactly. This is what podcast is about. Knowledge of self. When those conversations arise with yourself, like what to listen to, what not listen to, how to go about the thought process. And you've been saying it the whole time. You're like, yo, I have these doubts, but I'm like, oh, you know what? I have a plan. And then you gauge and you see other experiences in life and use that experience to push you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, but that's really what it is. It's just, once again, you'll have that moment where it's like, oh, I can do this, and then you fight through the bullshit, and then all of a sudden it's like that one little spurt of belief, or one sale, or someone trusting you, or someone even commenting like, yo, you helped me out, something like that within me is like, oh, okay, I'm making an impact.
Yeah, you're like, oh, people are watching, people are listening, I'm making an impact.
But even to this day, you have doubts. Like, even I do. Even as successful as I am through the business, I still have doubts, and a lot of it comes down to what we were talking about before as far as comparison. So it's like you see other people doing well, and you feel like once again, our competitive nature as men, we're going to be like, okay.
Yeah, but some of these things are illusional.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of it is, but that's why it's so hard. And, I've been out and about, and I've seen all these influencers. I've seen all these people. Half of them are miserable, because they're promoting something that they don't really actually feel, or whatever the case may be. Or, I think the main thing I pride myself on is just staying grounded, because I know where I came from.
Yeah, that's the word, grounded, because it's dangerous, man. Like,
it is dangerous out here.
Once you go into that lifestyle, and all of a sudden that lifestyle that is not you, but the persona you created, self-concept, is now overshadowing this one, reality. So then you start living this fake life, and you end up getting to a point where you don't know who you are.
Yeah. Because you start doing things to fit in with a certain vibe or person rather than be yourself.
Vibe or person.
That was that
or
was
surroundings,
yeah.
friends, and things of that nature.
Yeah, because there's gonna be people that hate on you regardless of what you do. You could be the most.
What is
perfect.
that saying? If they ain't hating, you ain't popping.
Yeah, something like if they ain't hate you, ain't doing something right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But that's what you need. I talk shit to people so they get pissed off. So they say, Joe, like F this kid. Like they want to say something. Even if it's not with me. Okay, go out and understand. At least some people will talk shit to me. I'd be like, it's nice to see you have a pair of balls. Like
Yeah, you give them the
you actually
pushback,
care.
but I get it.
You actually got some fire in you. Like go out and fucking use it. Like don't like take it the wrong way. But everybody has what I have. There's no difference. Like there's
some people use it, some people don't.
some people use it,
Some people don't even know how to use it, or if they do have the push, they don't know how to do it correctly, which is what you're pushing.
Which is what I'm pushing. Yeah, there's always opportunity to learn the things that you need to for yourself. It's just a matter of taking that risk and doing it. A lot of people want change, but they want to sit in their comfortable state. That's what I get all the time, all day. People are upset with themselves. They want change. They want to do something. They want to go to the gym, regardless of it. But then short-term pleasure steps in front of that long-term goal, and then I'll do it tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? And then they don't have the path. It's very hard as a busy person who's got a family, who's got kids, and you want to now make a change that's a new habit to go. You gotta lay it out. It's
gonna rattle and shake the
you gotta lay it out.
foundation.
Even if you want to get in the gym for yourself and you want to do something early in the morning, you could have the great intention. You could even wake up with the alarm. Okay, I'm ready to go. But if you don't have the plan and know, okay, I'm gonna work this out today. I'm gonna do this. Oh, I have to eat this before the gym. It's very easy to just be like, whatever. Like I don't know what I'm doing, and then that indecisive 5-10 minutes is your mind's gonna creep in.
But isn't that world kind of lonely?
What world?
Your world.
Like being in the gym?
Yeah, you're in the gym a lot, and you're constantly like working on yourself, and constantly like it's pretty much like a project.
Yeah.
Doesn't it get lonely?
I guess it does get lonely.
Yeah,
but
right,
it's lonely at the top.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
Man,
I don't want to be on the bus. I want to be on the private jet.
I feel you. Yeah. No, because there's people. I asked that question because I know friends that work out and they start getting into it, and then the person, their partner, or people, anybody they're with is not on that tip,
not on that stage. Yeah.
So then they kind of like fade away.
It is lonely. It's lonely. But if you find someone within the the marks of what you're doing, then there's so many people out there that are in the same line as me. Right. Doing the same things, trying to take care of themselves. It just depends. I've gotten a lot further than like I want to with some of my close friends growing up. Okay. Just because of the fact of I can't speak to them about the things I want to do for myself because their conversations may be sports or video games when it's like
and you're not on that.
I'm trying to. You're thinking about I want to speak about business planning, something like that. So unfortunately, you can't. Everybody that you grow up with isn't going to be on the same wavelength as far as even my family. I just see my family last weekend. I go out, I talk to them about what I'm doing, and it's like you're crazy. Like they don't see the vision.
Really? Still?
Yeah. Even still, sitting where I sit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and it sucks. And I mentioned that in one of my videos. It sucks. Especially from where I came from and the shit that I went through, and everybody knows I was probably least likely to succeed out of my whole family as far as growing up, and now I'm probably doing the best. As far as where I sit.
Why do you think is that?
Because I isolated myself. And I took the chances that I need to.
You listen to your intuition.
Because I go back home and I have the same conversations with my boys from when I moved to Miami about them still trying to do the same thing. But they can't because they're in that routine.
And you're trying to give them the advice and they're telling you, like, you don't know what you're talking about.
No, I give them the advice and they're like, you're right. But guess what? Monday comes right back into that bad habit. Before you know it, they're putting their head on their pillow at night, closing their eyes, telling themselves they're going to do it tomorrow. They're all excited. But then they get up, the alarm goes off, they got to go to work. They go to work, they eat a shitty meal at lunch because it's fast food. They feel fatigued, and then
I think the system is rigged to just get everybody at their worst.
It is. Well, the system is a system in that they want you to work the 9 to 5. They want you to take off and spend your money on the weekend. They want you to do it all again every single week.
Purchase, obtain, buy.
Yeah. It is. New York. That's why I had to get out of New York, man. I mean, it's almost a prison in there. To be honest with you, as far as
Miami's getting to that point, man. I feel the pressure now with everything and everyone. I'm like, well, Miami used to be more like a chill, lean back, chill vibe. Yeah. Go to the beach, you park. It might take you a little bit to find parking, but now it's costing you to park. It's costing you to go. It's costing. Everything is becoming like unattainable. It's crazy.
No, it's tough. It is tough. There's so much out there that's just like corrupted for money. But once again, systems, you know.
And again, man, that's why we got to talk and drop gems so people could be like, okay, forget that noise. I'm going to be on this tip.
Yeah, you got to get out the comfort zone, you know? That's what a lot of people are scared to risk the bubble. I tell people all the time, I say, if you spend 2 years working on yourself, something that you're passionate about, that you love, you'll be making more money than the job that you're settling for.
Correct.
That you're going to work for the next 40 years and get
Correct.
what? $2 raise a year? Come on, bro.
That's what I told the host.
It's literally ridiculous.
We had a hostess. She was young and she's going to college, and I'm looking at her like, "You want to go to college?" And she's like, "No." But I'm like, "What else am I gonna do?" I'm
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
"Go intern, go live in the world, see what you really want to do." Because for what I see, you're just doing what your parents want you to do, and they're paying for it. So you're like, okay,
Yeah. And that's what probably they did. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? So your mindset is you can do whatever you want. You built your own business. You're crushing it. You're doing your thing. So for you to see that for somebody else is possible. But for someone who doesn't see that for themselves, it's impossible. That's why all these kids are misdirected to college. That's the system, once again. That's
the system.
It's school, student loans, get a job, pay off your student loans, buy a house. You buy a house, you're getting taxed on your house, you're getting taxed on your income, you're getting taxed on everything you buy.
You're in
and
debt for
just
life
paycheck to paycheck because I'm waiting to retire. When you're 63.
if you get there.
Yeah, if you get there. If you get there.
Message: do what you gotta do. Do it with love, and you'll get there. Listen to your intuition.
Yeah, there's so many opportunities now with social media, man. And just online presence. You can reach hundreds and hundreds of people. You don't have to go viral every time.
But how long do you think they're gonna allow that? Because I got a feeling they're about to close down on that shit,
I don't think so.
dude.
AI is going to take over.
Okay, let's look at like radio. Back in the
Okay.
days, radio was like that too. You could airwaves. Oh, everybody get a radio, and then all of a sudden they started getting the FTC, and everybody got involved, and people started getting arrested. The shit got real.
Yeah.
I believe it's gonna.
There's going to be a
it's gonna-
change.
There's no way they're gonna
has
just
to.
continue to allow people to just do it. It's making a difference. People are starting to supposedly woke, but I don't know about that word. But still, people are starting to find out. Like they'll watch the podcast, they'll learn how to get better in aspects of life, change their mind. Now they don't want to be part of the system.
Of course.
And if that starts working,
But you
and
know what it
people
is?
start breaking away,
There's very few
now,
in comparison to the mass.
I'm telling you, man, it's like people are.
I think there's more opportunity to make money from anywhere. You can make money from anywhere, literally anywhere, any place. You know, you could sit and put your phone on a tripod in your kitchen and make thousands of dollars a day.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? You used to never be able to do that. So that's why once the old school people pass on and the new generation like us is 30, 40, 50, 60, and then the kids that are growing up with all this technology, it's just going to keep evolving. That's just what's going to happen. But that's another thing, like the opportunity, my full-time job now wasn't an opportunity when I was 21. Like there was no way I could even think
Yeah,
that
I
I would
you had to
have the
get had to be
opportunity to-
sponsored and all that.
Yeah, but it's not even that. It's more of like, my point was, if you're not happy with where you are at the moment, the opportunity that could change your life may not even be in your vision. So in 2-3
Correct.
years, something
Correct.
could come out to where, oh my God, I could do this and I could kill it. Like as far as, once again, social media online coaching for me wasn't a thing when I was 22. If it was, I'd be 10 years ahead, you know? So opportunities will come as life passes. So don't settle.
Isn't that what they say that luck is? Like when preparation meets opportunity?
Yeah. And, you know, a lot of the red car vision thing for me is very big as far as energy and thinking about something and looking for an opportunity. Like when you want to buy a car and all of a sudden all you see is the car.
Oh,
Like,
whatever
you know,
color,
whatever color. If I want to get a red Mustang, all
You're
I'm
gonna
going to
see 'em
do
everywhere.
red Mustangs. But if my mind isn't conscious to it, I don't see it. So if you're looking for an opportunity for yourself as far as make a move or watch this podcast and get a sign to go out and get active and hit the gym.
Message.
Something like that. That's what I'm saying. We'll come across your path, and it's up to you at that point to decide if you want to take advantage of it or not.
Correct.
Because the opportunities always come. I see. You think about something throughout the day, it's going to pop up. It's going to be in your face. You ever run into one of your friends or something like that, like on some random?
No, it happens to me all the time.
All the time.
I call people and they're like, "Yo, I was about to make an appointment." I was like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah, it's crazy. Even like I live in a building, apartment building where I've been for 4 years. So all my friends, I'll just run into someone, but it'll be like I went back into my house to like put my shoe on, and then all of a sudden I'm running into this person that I just thought about. Like it's just very weird, but it's more energy. Put the energy out into the world that you want to receive.
Yes, I say it. Harness the energy, man.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, and if you're righteous and you push that out, that energy is gonna come back tenfold, You got to harness it.
It really is. It really is. It's
crazy. Sometimes I'd be thinking like, damn, man, are we in the Matrix?
Yeah. Honestly, it could be. Think about this world we live in. It's wild. You know
I don't know. That's all I know.
We'll never find out.
All I know is that I don't know, and I don't want to rattle my brain thinking about it. But so we got now you got the followers, you got the concept. You
got the followers, the concept, the business. Just a matter of, kind of as far as being an online coach, it's realizing what your clientele is going to be, finding a niche. And targeting that and not being so broad. Like, I kind of target the younger version of myself because I was super skinny growing up, hard for me to gain weight. Once again, didn't have it locked in as far as diet goes for a really long time. So I just target the younger version of myself mainly, or even someone who's around my age now as far as a man who's just trying to get back through his motions. So figure out a niche that you want to attack and then figure out what you want to offer. And, there's so many different levels of pricing that you could go through as well.
What was the first goal that you hit that you're like, yes, I could do this? That was you would have never thought you would hit that goal.
Honestly, it was the pre-signups.
That's what you were like, nice.
Yeah, because what happened was once I was getting the request, I was doing the PDF thing, and I was like, I need something more legit. I wanted a whole application that.
So PDF thing is you were sending people a PDF.
Yeah, I was just asking them 5 questions,
yeah.
And it was just because it was coming in. So I was like, let me not leave it. They want my help. Let me try to help the best that I possibly could. So it was just a meal plan. It was a PDF that I created, wrote down for them and sent it to them.
Okay.
So it was just that, and then I was like, I want to give them more knowledge, for whatever they're investing in. And I created whole workout splits. I developed an app, and during that 8-week process, I was promoting it. Hey, I'm coming out. Then all of a sudden, it was just an email signups. So 300, 400 of them. And I was like, holy crap.
Holy sh!
This is what you could do with social media presence as far as the attraction of the eye is I take it for business because thankfully I had the mortgage mindset and I did sales for 6-7 years. So I knew that, okay, even if I reach 1,000 people, which people will sleep on view-wise, only 1,000 views, whatever. If you put 1,000 people in a room and you sell a product to them, think about that. 1,000 people, 100 people, and that's $100,000.
If you do a good job by that, they'll tell a person, and then it doubles up, triples up, keeps growing.
If you sell a $100 product to 1,000 people, it's $100,000. So
easy money.
Yeah, easy money. But once I had that that was my, oh my God, now I could actually scale this, especially if I keep going. Obviously all of those pre-signups didn't sign up, but it was just the amount of interest that I received. It was mind blowing. Because I was posting videos, but it was more for just clout, just building a presence, just wanted some social media followers. But then I realized, okay, now I need to convert this. So many people on social media now have such large presences. They get hundreds of thousands of views of things, but they don't sell a product. They don't monetize their reach.
Yeah,
I
think the home mortgage thing is what helped you adjust.
100%. Yeah, because I understood leads. I understood following up. I understood, just closing a deal. And then I remember when I first started mortgages, I hated talking on the phone. I'm a very antisocial person. I'm probably the most antisocial social media person there is. I swear. But they were like, call your mom. And even talking to my mom on the phone, just trying to go through an application, I was stuttering, couldn't really talk well.
Wow.
So it was just a process of learning over time. Once again, failing. Getting on a call for the first time, calling someone, being so nervous.
Yeah.
But why are you calling me? Hang up. Bah. Okay. Next one. Why are you calling me? Bah. And then I got to ask for their social, their date of birth. For me, as far as not knowing anything, it was impossible. And then I got my first one, and then it was oh, I could actually do this. And then boom, just that confidence. Once again, speaking back to what we spoke about before, what is that thing that's going to bad habit, bad thoughts, and then one good thing comes through just because you failed and you learn, and then all of a sudden now you get a confidence and you could do it. And then it's just numbers.
So you use that with everything in life.
Yeah.
Not just working out, not just finances, not just everything like that. You go about it with that same mindset?
With that same mindset, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yes, sir.
Now that we got there, what would you tell a young Joey, 14 years old, going through what he went through? What advice would you give that?
Embrace failure, number one. Be patient with progress is probably the most important thing that I would tell my younger self, is because, once again, when you start something that you're passionate about, you want it to happen.
Yeah.
And, there were so many times where even, once again, I learned this through the fitness journey. You'll get close to a good physique, or you get close to a certain money goal, and then you kind of get complacent and you're not where you thought you should, but you were making progress, and you give up on it.
Okay.
Like social media traction. You know, I was posting on Instagram when it first came out, but it was like one video didn't do that well, second video, all right, you know, it's not worth it. So be patient. Consistency is the key to success, and comparison is the thief of joy. So don't compare yourself to other people because everybody's got different paths. Just stay in your own lane.
Nice. Yeah. All right, so I got a couple of questions.
Let's get it.
Let's go into these. You saw the movie The Bronx Tale.
Yeah.
You know the part when he asked him, would you rather be loved or feared?
Yeah.
Since you're a Greek beast, what do you have to say about that one?
Would I rather be loved or feared? Oof. I guess I think I'd rather be loved.
Okay.
I think I'd rather be loved. Because fear, you know, kind of will prevent people from investing into you and being around you. If you're loved and people actually care about you, then you could inspire other people to do whatever you're doing, or at least bring your good energy to them, rather than have people not be around you for that reason.
Okay. Knowing or understanding? Which one do you prefer?
Knowing or understanding? I guess understanding.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I think if you have an understanding of something, you know it. So it's like you know exactly through understanding a process of something what you need to do, rather than, oh, I know what I need to do, or I understand what I need to do. You can know you need to go to the gym, but if you understand the process of going through the motions, then it's a lot easier to keep
and there's
showing
no
up.
stopping you because
Because everyone knows what, like, people will ask me, how do I lose weight? I'm like, you know how to lose weight.
You
You
just don't do
understand
it.
how. You don't understand how. You don't understand the calorie maintenance and doing this stuff. So once you understand how to do it, it's up to you to execute, but everybody could know.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wealth or riches?
Wealth.
What is that?
I think wealth is just a higher standard of riches. Riches is, in my perception, more of like a flashy thing. If you have wealth, you have just, you know, your family taken care of, and generational stuff would speak to wealth more, in my opinion.
Nice. Perception or reality?
Reality. Reality, due to the fact that, you know, perception could be an illusion. You know, it could be something that's not real and could prevent you from doing things that aren't reality. So if you live in reality and you live with the facts of failure and uncomfortability and success and happiness and sad, you could approach those things as you go through them the right way.
Message. All right. Joy or happiness?
Joy or happiness, huh? I guess happiness. What would be the difference, really?
Joy is like instant, like
okay, like quick.
Like your team wins. Yes, you have joy, and you're happy but happiness is more like
longevity.
Yeah.
So definitely happiness there, just because obviously you need to be happy with yourself. Once again, short-term pleasures get you that joy, I guess you could speak on, like going out, drinking, having fun, but the next day when you're hungover, you're not really joyful.
You're not really happy.
Yeah. So I'd rather be happy.
All right, what do you think about the term power of choice? What do you think about that?
I think it's very strong term, because there's a choice that we make every second of the day, as far as even just sitting here and turning my head back and forth. So
there's power in that.
Yeah, the main power is the choices that you make, and everybody has the same option every single day to make the choices that we can. So there's a tremendous amount of power in that.
And the term good problems.
Good problems is interesting, because a lot of people don't want problems, but you know, as you continue to build wealth and success, and you know, more problems come. Once you have more on your plate, essentially, there's going to be more to deal with. You know, if you sit in a complacent place and you have no problems, and you know, there's nothing really going on, you may not be where you want to be. But you know, even for me in a coaching business or building a business or doing social media, there's problems every day, but those problems come with success. So.
Yeah, I always tell my kids, like, yo, we got to go, but we're going to go walk. And then they're like, it's so far. I'm like, yo, you know how many people wish they could walk?
Yeah.
And you don't even want to walk a block?
Yeah, like, it's crazy. It's the perception of health is crazy for a lot of people. You know?
So it's like, yo, man, good problems are a good thing. Yeah. All right. What do you think about emotional intelligence?
Emotional intelligence, as far as like what? Being able to handle your emotions.
Do you think it's an important thing?
Yeah. Your emotions play a factor in everything that you do. You know, if you let your emotions decide the actions that you take, it could be very daunting, you know, especially if it's not something that you want to happen, or, once again, that little mind, the little thoughts that creep
Exactly.
into your mind of just knowing, who you are and what you could do and what you're capable of. Is if you let your daily motivation or your bad week, hinder you and then go into a bad month, then it could be detrimental to your success. So,
Nice. Pain versus suffering.
oof. Pain versus suffering. I guess pain I would take because it's seems more temporary.
Correct.
Suffering is something that's
It's a
could eat-
choice.
Yeah, something that could eat your mental pain is something that you could handle.
Suffering is a choice, man.
Yeah,
We
suffering
had
is a choice.
a lot of people here, and then they all say this, like, it's a choice, man. You don't have to suffer. If you could,
Yeah,
if
you
you could
don't.
fix yourself, especially mentally,
Yeah,
you don't suffer.
suffering is it's tough. I've been there. I've been through the downs.
Yeah, but then you snap out of it. You're like,
Yeah.
what am I? What's wrong with
Sometimes
me?
it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to
It's
snap
the
out.
most hardest,
Especially when it's
difficult thing
like-
that anybody has to deal with. But
Yeah,
if you understand, I don't have to suffer.
yeah,
I can have pain.
yeah.
Not
Pain is
suffering.
fine. Suffering, not for too long, man. There's always a hole to get out of. I mean, I was in the darkest holes, even in my mid-20s, going through the motions, feeling like there's no way I could get out of this.
Just losing your father and grandfather. That's nuts.
Yeah, so just always fight back, man.
Logic or intuition?
Intuition. I think it'll let you, take the chances you need to in order to get to certain places. Because sometimes you don't need to be the smartest person, there is in order to succeed. You just need to be intuitive enough to take the chances. So
Message.
some people don't have the intuition, but have the thoughts and the brains or the talents to go out and play sports, but they don't take that step. So
All right. Well, that leads me to the next question: intelligence versus experience. What do you think is better?
intelligence versus experience, huh? I guess I think experience, because I think the experiences you go through in life really teach you the most, because you could look up something on Google and be intelligent about it, but same thing with, I can know how to work out correctly, but if I don't go through
Correct.
the motions of the gym, I don't really know what it takes. Everybody knows you could do 3 sets of this, treadmill, blah, 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 but until you go there and you put yourself through the pain and you got to do the things, it's a whole different story. So I think the experience will speak a lot more to the results that you'll get.
All right. And then this one is one that I just wanted to ask. This is the first time I ever asked it.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like a stranger?
To myself? Yeah.
Yeah. How did you deal with that?
This comes back to my low point when I was like 23, 24. Had a lot of trouble with the law, going through stuff, just making bad decisions. And when I made these bad decisions, it was the lowest point. I was in a relationship, toxic. My girl was cheating on me, going through the motions, and I was just making bad decisions. I was going out drinking. I got in trouble, driving, drinking. So during that time when I was going through like just the law stuff and the lawyers, it was like I didn't even really know what I was doing. I didn't
You
know
were
who I
losing
was.
grip.
I was losing grip. I was like, and I had nowhere to turn. There was nowhere where I could go to my family. They didn't want to hear it because it's BS. You're partying too much. You should have went to school. Blah blah blah. My girl couldn't talk to because we were going through shit. My friends, you're in the hole, So it was like
I told you.
I just looked at myself and I was like, I didn't know what to do.
So you
but-
looked within.
Yeah, I had to look within during that time and just really just kind of ground myself once again. It comes down to being grounded and realizing even at my worst time in my life, what I still had. You know what I mean? The opportunities that were still in
Wow.
front of me.
Wow.
So once I had that, it was like, okay, let me make the change. Honestly, going through that when I was 23, 24 really gave me the perception of what life could be if you keep fucking up and doing the bad things, or you could go out and take the chances and, maybe become the person that you tell yourself you want to become. Because I always told myself I want to be successful. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to do content, or I want to make a lot of money, but I wouldn't take the chances in order to do so. So
Yeah,
how
but
do
now you got a court date. Now you're like,
yeah,
damn,
now
I
got a
have
court
to.
date. Now I got a court date, and my license is gets suspended in 2
Wow.
weeks. And I'm driving the day before my license gets suspended. I get in trouble again. Yeah,
So it's like,
Yeah.
you're gonna learn.
yeah. You're gonna learn realistically, but once again, it was direct energy to what I'm putting out. Miserable energy, miserable. Just why me, rather than it's because
Within.
of what I did. And being knowledgeable of yourself. And knowing what you're going through.
That's exactly what I wanted you to say. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is. Knowledge of self.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Because everybody could, pout about this, pout about that, but you need
It's
to make
all
decisions for
comes
yourself.
within from self.
That's it.
Yes, sir. Joey, man, this has been fun, man.
Yeah, it was a good one.
It was a good one, man. We got a little glimpse. If you guys want to continue to see Joey's process and what he does, follow him. The
I
Greek
appreciate you.
Beast.
The Greek Beast.
Follow him. Let him know your handles and everything that's coming up.
Okay, got you. So TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, it's _Greek Beast. I do post fitness content every single day. I vlog what I do, try to educate you guys for free on how to go out there and be intentional with the things that you want to do for yourself. So more things to come once we hit a few more subs on YouTube. I get like 10K. I'm going to do long form stuff. So that's in the carbs as far as full daily life and stuff like that. But continuing to build the online coaching business and showing you guys how it's done. So.
Nice.
Yes,
Yo, forever grateful, man. Thank you for coming in.
I appreciate you having me.
Guys,
thank you so
this
much.
was a good one. I'm going to start working out. Watch that.
We're going to get Gene fit. Give him 6
Yo,
months. Watch what
give me
happens.
6 years.
Give him 6.5 years. He's coming back with a vengeance.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Live, love, laugh, harness the energy, and exercise wisdom. Peace.